start with Eric Bailey of the Tulsa World. Eric?
Hey, thanks for doing this today. Just want to ask you, what has the summer been like, and how hard has it been to transition back into football mode, after, especially with the uncertainty of what's been going on the last 3-4 weeks?
I mean, pretty much like you said, the uncertainty of what's been going on has kind of made the transition, back into football kind of difficult and things like that. But with the coaching staff and the people we have around us, being able to handle things the correct way has made the transition much easier.
Thanks.
Okay, we're going to go to Ryan Aber of the Oklahoman and then Jason Kersey. Ryan?
Yeah, Delarrin, how are you feeling physically, and what was the biggest challenge as you come back from that injury, especially given sort of the much different nature of this offseason?
Pretty much with us being able to, go home and, get away from it a little bit because of, the virus, the way it moved in and things like that. I was just able to do more rehab, so it kind of made it much easier because I got to do extra rehab on top of, coming back. And with me doing rehab and without any physical contact, that just made it much easier.
Hey, Jason Kersey of The Athletic, and then Caleb McCory. Jason?
Hey, Delarrin. Coach Grinch talked the other day to us about how the injuries piling up, had really been difficult. And I'm just wondering, especially with Caleb Kelly, how that affected you guys' morale, especially with all the uncertainty about the season. Was that a difficult thing?
Well, anytime someone goes down, that's always difficult. I mean, with it being Caleb Kelly, with his senior year, and also with him having, that same injury in the past year, it kind of made it difficult. But the guys that are behind him in the linebacker room and things like that, they're stepping up to the job, and so it's really not much of a drop off with him not being on the field.
Hey, Caleb McCory with OU Daily, and then Lee Benson. Caleb?
Hey, Delarrin, I was wondering, is it really difficult to practice with a mask, and what's been the whole experience with the team and practicing when you're quarantined like this?
Right. I mean, none of us have ever played a game of football with a mask over our face. It's all new to everyone. So, the first few weeks, with us coming back and, having to train with a mask and things like that, I would say it was pretty difficult. But with us, doing it every single day, we kind of got used to it as a unit. So everyone is handling that in the right way.
Okay, let's go to Lee Benson with KWTV, and then Brandon Drum. Lee?
Hey, Delarrin, you kind of touched on this a little bit at the start, but as a media guy and as a fan of college football, it's been kind of tough this offseason with the, will they play, won't they play? And I'm sure for you, it's been even worse knowing that you're a player. So whenever the Big 12 and the SEC and the ACC all said they're going to move forward, what was your reaction to that? And for you, was it kind of a breath of fresh air knowing that your preparation, you're still, planning, it doesn't go for naught, you're still planning to play a season?
Right. Like you said, with me being a football player and things like that, we'll always be excited to, play the game of football. And I feel like the biggest thing, not even only for our conference or anything like that, the biggest thing for us is that we need to be able to take things day by day because we don't know, just like they said that we're playing and moving forward, they can come back and say, well, we want to move it to the spring. So right now we just have to take advantage of the days that we do have and make the most of them.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll go to Brandon Drum with OU Insider, and then John Hoover. Brandon?
Hey, DTY, I appreciate you doing this. Just about, I guess, your leadership roles and everything that's gone on, I guess, with having to stop, start, and do all that stuff. How have you all, I guess, come together as a team? How difficult has that been? I know y'all talked about the transition being hard, but how difficult is it as far as not just the playing side, but the mental side of everything as well, just as a complete unit?
Right. Pretty much like I just said, with the unit or the team taking the situation day by day, things like that. That's making it much easier for us because we can't worry about the future if we don't take care of the day. So as long as we keep taking it day by day and things like that, we'll be good.
Okay, go to John Hoover with SI Sooners and then Kerry Murdoch. John?
Hey, Delarrin, thanks for your time today. I want to ask you about year 2 in Speed D. Year 2 in, you're much more familiar with Alex Grinch and his expectations. You're much more familiar with the system and what your job is and what everybody's role around you is. What can you tell me about how you guys are progressing in the second year under Alex?
Pretty much like Coach Grinch stated in the interview earlier in this week. Not being able to coach the same guys. Because like you just said, guys should know their job and know what people are doing around them and things like that. So now it just comes down to a playmaking mindset. And, the Speed D, we're based off takeaways. So we got to be big on that, being able to do your job, but not also do your job, be able to finish at the end of the play and coming down with the ball.
Real quick follow. Who's impressed you among the young guys at the defensive back position? Maybe specifically the safeties, but as corners as well. Who jumps out at you among the young guys?
We have a great group of young guys right now. If I had to give you a few names, it would be mainly Bryant Washington and DJ Graham. Those guys are coming out ready to learn each and every day and just producing, and that's exactly what we need on the back end.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
We'll go to Kerry Murdoch with Sooner Scoop and the Sports Animal, and then Bob Prisbillo. Kerry?
Hey, Delarrin, you and Pat had to play so many plays last year. I'm curious, without having a spring, is there more that you try and do with guys like Woody and younger guys to kind of help bring them along? Do you have to put more effort into that because you did miss that spring practice? And I know you wouldn't have been playing, but just having this kind of compressed timeline that you're in?
Right. With the time that we're in right now and not being able to have spring ball, we just had to be able to take advantage of the, Zoom calls or just studying film. Because once you see something on film, those guys can look at something that, they've messed up on in the past and just, even if they were back home or if they were here in Norman, just working on that each and every day, just improving on the things that they need to improve on. And I feel like that is one of the key things that they could have used to help them with us not being able to practice.
And speaking of depth, how good is it having Trey Norwood back with you guys?
It's always good whenever you can have a guy like Trey Norwood back, a guy that's always going to produce on the back end and things like that. So I'm excited to see what he can do for us this year.
Thanks, Delarrin.
You're welcome.
You'll go to Bob Prisbillo with Sooner Scoop and then Garen Enig. Bob?
Yeah, you mentioned some of the young guys. I want to talk in particular Bryant Washington. What did he bring to the table coming in during the mid-year, and how has he progressed during the first couple weeks of camp?
Well, back in the spring, we only got to have one practice, so, he was just getting his feet wet. But a big jump that I can say just based off that one practice, seems like the time that we were at home, he took time to, study film and get acquainted with the playbook. Because whenever we came back, it was right back into fall camp. We were going, and he hasn't had a lot of mental errors or things like that you would see from a young guy coming in. So it looked like that he took the time to sit down and learn the playbook and go out there and be able to make the right calls.
Okay, let's go to Garen Enig of the Tulsa World, and we'll go back to Brandon Drum. Garen?
Yeah, good to see you, Delarrin. Do you know anybody who has contracted the virus in your family, close friends, that kind of thing?
Back home, yes, I have a aunt that ended up getting it, but she's over it now. So,
was any of her symptoms serious, or was it a fairly routine situation for her?
It was kind of, I had to call and find out because I was up here. But if I can recall right, you know, the symptoms kind of came in pretty heavy, but it was only for a few days. It wasn't anything that was like long term, anything like that.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, back to Brandon Drum.
Yeah, T.Y., you guys talked about, Coach Grinch said not wanting to coach the same person, and you said the same thing. For you, what does that mean in your mind as far as the difference between 2019 Delarrin Turner Yell and 2020 version?
Right. 2019, Delarrin Turner Yell and Speed D, year one together. So that I feel like that year was, based on, getting the playbook, just based on doing your job, the entire time, just doing your job. 2020 Delarrin Turner Yell, you already know the playbook, you know the scheme, you know what guys are doing around you. So 2020 Delarrin Turner Yell needs to do his job and also not do his job, but finish the play. So going back to takeaways and things like that, like not only should I cover a guy, but I should come down with the football.
Okay, we got time for a couple more. We'll go back to Jason Kersey and then Lee Benson. Jason?
Yeah, you sort of alluded to it right there, but last year takeaways were such a big thing that were talked about throughout the preseason, and I know how important that is to Coach Grinch. Why do you think they didn't come the way you expected last year, and what are you guys doing to try to make that happen more this year?
Pretty much like I said, 2019, we were just so set on just doing our job. Like, if it came down to, you leveraging, holding your leverage and the ball coming to you, we were just so stuck on, leveraging the ball and, making the tackle. But now coming back, I mean, if you want to make a career in this game, then you need to have the football as a defensive unit. Like, you need to get the ball back. And that also helps you win game. So I feel like if we're going to do our job, we need to be able to exceed doing our job and being able to get the ball back. Because like you said, we kind of failed last year at getting the amount of takeaways that we wanted. And I feel like that's why, certain games were close and things like that. Because with you getting the ball back, that can really determine the ball game.
Thanks, man.
And our final question will be from Lee Benson.
Hey, Delarrin, this is a simple question, but considering two other conferences aren't playing this fall, they're hoping to play in the spring, and you guys in the ACC and SEC are proceeding right now, just what does football mean to you, just the game, and also just in the sense of everything that comes along with the game of football? Right.
I mean, to be honest, football means the world to me. I mean, if it didn't, I wouldn't, be in a position that I am today. So I feel like if those guys feel the exact same way, then, let's play ball. And I'll also go back to saying that, we need to take things day by day. Like, we can't get to thinking, well, in the future they might cancel or things like that. Because when you start doing things like that, days tend to go by you. And in the game of football, the way we need to prepare, we can't allow days to go by us.